Hi friends, this is Mandy from Mandolin Farm, and this is a channel where we talk about both homesteading and homemaking interchangeably. So you may get a video that's about homemaking or about homesteading. I try to switch them up a little bit. So this time we're going to talk a little bit about homesteading, because I'm seeing, the longer I'm in this, the more I see it's a challenge to really homestead on the cheap. It can really get expensive. And so I just thought I'd talk about that a little bit and maybe give you guys some tips on some ways that you can maybe do homesteading a little bit more inexpensively. So I just want to say that in a world where Instagram is around, sometimes Instagram paints a picture that is not super accurate. Sometimes it is, but it's not super attainable for a whole lot of people. For some it is, but if you don't have the money, it's hard to actually reach that kind of beauty or that Instagram worthiness on a homestead. And so when you get into it and you see just how things go, sometimes it's really discouraging. It can be really discouraging when it doesn't look Instagram worthy, and you know that to get that way it's going to cost a lot of money. And so anyways, I want people to get into this knowing what they're getting into and knowing, hey, it might not look like someone else's place, someone else's homestead, but it takes time. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes money, and you're gonna have to just take it one step at a time as you can achieve those goals that you set out to do. And it's gonna take time, and that's just the way it goes. And so don't get discouraged if you get into this, you're like, I'm doing this, and things are just taking a little longer than you think, because that's just the way it's going to go. It's just to be expected. So I just wanted to tell you guys that. And anyways, here are 5 tips to homesteading just a little bit more on the cheap. So here we go. First off, let's start small. Start small, guys. You're going to move. You're going to get into that whole homestead lifestyle. You're going to want to go as fast as possible. You're going to want to do as much as possible, as quick as possible, and you're going to burn out. You will. It happens. It happened to us. You're going to do all the things. I want to do all the things, but guys, it takes time. Pace yourself. Start small. Start small. Start with a smaller garden. Start with just if you start with animals, start with a few, and only a few. Start small. Don't start out with 100 goats or 100 chickens or 100 this, or or even 50 or even 20. Just get a few chickens, a handful of chickens, a few little goats. Start small, because it can really get out of hand quickly. So just start small and you won't regret that. Just start small, and as you have the means, you keep growing, but start small. When we started this journey, we lived in a camper. We didn't even have our own piece of property yet. We were renting, and oh man, we were so excited. We just wanted to do it all. We had a huge garden. We started getting all the animals. And honestly, looking back, we should have started smaller. We should have gone smaller, started small, and then moved on from there, because the money that was spent on the homestead that was not ours should have been put away and spent on a homestead that was actually going to be our homestead. And so anyways, you live and you learn, but my recommendation to you is to start small. Even if you are on your own property already, still just start small, and as you have the means, you keep growing from there. Number 2, embrace DIY, guys. Don't have just somebody come and do everything for you, because it's going to cost a lot more. When you hire someone in to come do things for you, it's just going to cost more. You may save on time. So if you have the means, then, yeah, by all means, just go ahead and hire someone to help you more. But if you don't, DIY is the way to go when it comes to homesteading. You're gonna have to make your own things. You're gonna have to figure out how to do stuff yourself. It's just part of it. And so, especially if you want to save money in this process, because doing it yourself, you're just gonna save more money. You're still gonna have to spend money on things, supplies, and different things, but you're still gonna save money in the long run. You just do it yourself. So DIY, embrace DIY. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is, after your garden season is over, instead of having to buy more seeds, save your seeds. Guys, if you save your seeds, you don't have to buy more seeds. It's completely free. You just have to save your seeds and put them away in a safe, dry place so that you can use them next year. And it's great. It's great. It works great to save your seeds and use them, reuse them, and do it every year. And you know what you like. Once you figure out what you like, you save those seeds, save the best plants, and it really actually will help your garden in the long run too, to be better. Number 4, don't be afraid to just start preserving that food that you grow, getting it preserved. Don't let it go to waste. Preserve your food. You'll have food, through the winter. You'll have food that you don't have to go and shop for if you just preserve that food. Get it into canning jars. Get it into either dried or frozen. But let's preserve that food and use it all through the year, because that will save you money on your grocery bill later. You went through all that trouble of planting that garden. So let's preserve that, through the whole year. And you will, that just makes it so worth it too, because you're putting so much work and effort into that. And this is why we're doing it, right? Just so that we can be more self-sustainable and we don't have to go to the grocery store for every single thing. So, yeah, preserve your food. That's tip number 4, preserve your food. And then tip number 5 is use some free resources. Go to the library, do your research, get books from the library, and use the internet. There's so many websites out there that have so much great advice. You don't have to buy a bunch of things. Now, there are some great courses out there. Some are pretty inexpensive, some are really expensive. So you just have to kind of do your research, figure out what you can afford to learn this process, of whatever you want to learn. So, but there's so many books out there too, free resources. Go to the library. There's groups on Facebook, so many groups on different niches, different areas in homesteading that you can join. You can join our group. We have a group called the Beginners Homesteading Group, and there's people there that maybe can give you advice too. There's so many other groups too, but those are just some ways that you can get free resources and learn. There's also local places that teach. Find those places, figure out what you need to do to be able to go to those classes. There's some really inexpensive classes usually. It's not, sometimes you just have to do your research, but yeah, just find those resources that are going to help you, and especially the free resources. Those are going to be the best. To just learn about more ways that you can really save money while homesteading, go to the blog post. I'm going to link it below. That way you guys can really just get more ideas. And this is as we've been doing this, we're just learning. There's a few ways you can do this. You can do it cheaper, you can do it more expensively. In the long run, you have dreams, you have goals that you want to accomplish, and you'll get there. It's just going to take some time, effort, and some money. So, but just as you have the means, do it. Don't just throw all your money into this and then end up hurting later. So just do it little by little and you'll reach your goals. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. Just hope you guys have a great day and happy homesteading.